right? Now, the top 5 NFL teams. I'm sorry, this is a, primarily basketball show, but we dabble in with a little football there. And I talked to y'all last week, and I think based off the conversation, it's fair to say we had Bills, Chiefs, Miami, Bucks, and Eagles all in the starting in the top 5. And when I look at it now, I look at it, and that was in order, by the way. I look at it now as this: the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, and then the Bucks, with being potentially in for that 6th spot. Do y'all agree with that? I'm gonna let Rick go first, because he's a newcomer. So, Rick, what's your thoughts on that take? And again, it's the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bucks for my top 5.
I would rearrange it a little bit.
Okay.
So I would move Miami out of that number 1 spot. They did have a good showing this week against Buffalo. I think more impressively was their defense, right? Holding the Bills to 19 points. I'm sure, the conditions down there played a little part in it, with it being almost 100 degrees down there in Miami, you know what I'm saying? And they coming from Buffalo, and it's getting cold up here. So I think that played a little part in it. But when it came down to it, they gave up a lot of yards. They didn't break. But I would slide Philly in front of Miami. I would slide Philly in front of Miami, just for the simple fact that I like what I'm seeing from Jalen Hurts. I feel like the number 1 question coming into this year, I think we all thought Philly had a great roster, right? So with them having a great roster, I think the only question mark was, how would Jalen Hurts play? And his play has been inconsistent in the past, but I feel like he's remedied that just a little bit. And he has to continue to build on it, obviously, but I think the play that you see from him, the weapons he has on the outside with Devontae Smith, along with A.J. Brown, you got Dallas Goedert working the middle of the field for him. Defensively, the defensive line impressed me a lot this past week. The way they got after Carson Wentz, you know what I'm saying, may have been a little incentive behind that. They, a little, put some hits on them. You feel me? But
right.
End of the day, I think the secondary is solid, defensive line is solid. I think right now they should be number 1.
Okay. So that would be the main change with my starting 5, with my top 5.
Yep.
Okay. And really quickly, because both of them said no to this statement, I believe. But is Jalen Hurts going to get MVP? Like, do you think he got a shot, like a legitimate, like a solid shot?
He has a legitimate shot if he continues to play like this. Okay. Now, I still think you got to put Lamar ahead of him right now.
Okay.
I think he's your number 1 right now. Just the way he's controlling everything, you know what I mean? So he's number 1, and Jalen is. I would say I would put him in the 2nd spot, honestly.
Okay, got you then. Now, and Freddie, how do y'all feel about the top 5? We got a little rearrangement from Rick, real quick, but that's only at the 1 and 2. So how do y'all feel? And again, for everybody, it's the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Bills, Chiefs, and then Bucks.
And do you want to go next or last, bro?
You got it, Fred. I'll go last.
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be tough for me to put this in order, but I'm just going to name my 5. Of course, Buffalo is there. Miami is definitely there. We have Philly's there. Baltimore is there. And Green Bay is there. I don't think the Bucks can be there because right before our eyes, we're watching Tom Brady's cliff. He's not nosediving, but he's that cliff is there. He's going down that. He's jumping off that cliff right now. We're watching it right before our eyes, and it's now. And I get his receivers have been out, but now we see guys like Leonard Fournette last year, who was unstoppable. Now he's less effective because it looks like teams are sort of kind of daring Brady to beat them. He doesn't look like he can beat them. I mean, he looked like he lost about 80 pounds or whatever. So he looked like he lost about 80 pounds. So their defense is amazing. Of course, you have a change of coaching. So that style of play is going to be slightly different. Again, you have receivers in and out, whatever. I don't think they're as good as Green Bay. I think week 1 Green Bay is the same week 1 Green Bay we saw last year. The last 2 weeks, they made quick adjustments. Their defense is what it is. Philly, I have them in there. I don't think I don't think the end of the year they'll be there, honestly. I think they're gonna the next few weeks will be more reality check for them. They played Minnesota, not Carson Wentz. Well, they played Carson Wentz, but they played Kirk Cousins in prime time, who was never a star in prime time. They played Detroit, who almost came back and beat them, and they gave up 30 points to Detroit, and then they played Carson Wentz. So I'm impressed by what Philly did. I'm impressed by what Jalen Hurts did, but I also saw the first quarter of what Jalen Hurts did versus Washington. And we spoke about this last time. I told you teams are going to make him become a precise passer. In the first quarter, that's what Washington did, and he was like 2 of his first 10 or whatever. So thankfully, he got receivers that can make plays even if he's not accurate. But yeah, so I think Baltimore is definitely up there. They'll last there. Buffalo will be there as well. Miami will be there as well. Green Bay will be there. And I think right now the Eagles is probably the last team I'll put in the top 5. But that's going to be very fluid for me.
Okay, in no particular order. Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling? Are you rocking with my top 5? Are you more so on Rick's side, which again is just to flip the top 2, or are you going more so on Freddie's, or something different?
The only adjustment I would make is swapping out Green Bay for Tampa. I'm not too sure about the order yet. That's going to take some time to really figure out. I like Philly at number 1 for right now.
Okay.
They seem to be the most complete, well-oiled machine that's right now. Really putting teams down. They're scoring points. Jalen Hurts is doing what I needed him to do to earn those points for me. Defensively, they look great. Far as what Fred's talking about, I'm not falling for that Tom Brady clip. I'm not willing to do that yet. We'll see where Tampa ends up, but the whole NFL is one big question mark for the most part. And is through history, when these weird years are occurring, Tom Brady always seemed to be the one to figure it out before everybody else. And we'll see where that goes. So right now, I do have Philly at 1.
Okay.
Swap Green Bay out for Tampa, and the rest of the order, you can kind of place that wherever you may. That's where I'm at with everything.
All right.
Okay.
Two quick questions.
We gonna have to move past it because every time you ask a question.
Well, no, it's just two simple questions.
But the answer is what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
I just want to hear the
Go ahead.
One was with the Brady thing. Don't y'all think that this year the excuses around Brady is slightly different? Usually it's, the other players didn't make plays, right? Brady's usually able to do more with less. This year we see he can't do that.
Save that then, because I do have a section for Tom Brady. So
okay,
save that. Yes. So remember, and what's your second question?
Well, no. So my second question was just with Jalen Hurts and how they're starting off against these less than stellar teams.
We got the Eagle section covered, so I remember both of them questions.
Bookmark both of those there.
Bookmark them.